Beginning at the bottom of page 71 in the paper version. Over all the Geatish land, the blazing fires rose skyward. A scourge of fire-spitting destruction he wrought in that one night, pouring out his venomous fire, burning everywhere and everyone with his flame-throwing poisonous breath. Before morning light came to the sky, with the country and its people left so cruelly ravaged, the serpent flew back to his hidden hoard deep inside his secret mound. Here he believed he would be quite safe. But he was mistaken, as you shall hear. Beowulf had heard by now of the horror visited on his countrymen that night by this death dragon. His own mead hall, most magnificent of all buildings in the land, the very heart of his kingdom, had been consumed by the serpent's fire. Sorrow overcame him when he saw the ashes smoldering. Grief-gripped, guilt-ridden, that good king imagined that he must have brought this on himself, that he had somehow angered his eternal God. When he saw how that devil's dragon had visited fire and fury on the land by the sea, where his people had lived out their lives in peace, secure, they thought, in safety of their homes, anger swelled inside him and overcame his grief and his guilt. Now the old king roused himself to action and swore to punish this evil death messenger. Old he may have been, but Beowulf was formidable still in strength and will. At once he gave orders that a huge shield should be made, all in iron. He knew wood would be little use against the searing heat of the serpent's fire. Only with such a shield would he be able to come close enough to the horde-squatting dragon to put an end to this murderer's miserable life. But Beowulf, this mighty warrior of old, would not go up against this death dragon with his army of warriors. He was a hero who had never known fear. He scorned the dragon's strength and his fighting prowess too. Beowulf had survived battles in the plenty, and had emerged victorious in many other clashes since that time when he had destroyed the monster Grendel and his sea-hag mother all those years before in the land of Hrothgar. He was not afraid again to do battle in defense of his people, this noble hero. So he took only 11 warrior companions with him to seek out the fiery ravager of the night. They were all he would need, he thought. But one more came with them too, the slave who had stumbled by chance into the hidden mound and woken the horde-watching dragon from his centuries of sleep. He had discovered this guilty slave, clutching the precious golden goblet. So the cause of the serpent's woeful attack had been discovered, and the slave was brought along, this cursed coward, to show them the way into the mound, for he alone knew the inside of the dragon's earth hall, the cavernous lair, heaped high with treasure, where the dreaded dragon lay. Beowulf knew how formidable this underground guardian was, how fierce and fiery a foe he would be, and he was not wrong. To the headland of the cliffs they came, and saw at last the secret mound, and the narrow way in. Here Beowulf spoke to his trusted hearth companions. He meant with his words to lift their hearts, to exhort them and encourage them, to banish their fear. There was no fear in the great hero, but the truth was that his own spirit was gloomy and heavy with premonition, as if he already knew that this was the place and the time of his last fight, that this death dragon would be the end of him, his body and his soul torn apart at last in the struggle that lay ahead. Strongly he spoke, though, banishing all those dark thoughts from his mind. Cherished comrades in arms, I have survived many struggles in my life, and I do not forget any of them, nor the brave war companions who died at my side. I have always had good fortune in these battles, wielding my bright hard-edged sword again and again in service of the King Hygelac, my king, in my early days as the king myself, now these long years since. Every battle I ventured I won by God's good grace, and I shall win again today, old as I am. I am the stern guardian of my people, and must destroy this death dragon before he destroys us. I would go up against him bareheaded and barehanded, as I grappled once with that monster Grendel, but I must somehow defend myself against the fire of this flame spitter. So I will carry this iron shield to fend off the flames, and will wear my mail shirt and helmet to protect my flesh from his fire venom. I shall be strong in spirit, give all in this fight. I shall not run from this heathen horde guardian, however hot and fierce his flames. Wait here for me. This is my fight. It is for me, your king, to match myself against this champion of evil. I will dare all bravely should I win. God willing, then the horde dragon will die his death and harm us no more, and we shall win all the gold he guards. Should I fail, then your king will not see this nightfall, nor any other tomorrow, nor shall share the cup of mead with you ever again. If this is my end, then so be it. Strongly he spoke out, this champion of Geats. Despite all his doubts, he was still confident in his prowess. Brave beside his shield he stood, in helmet and war shirt ready now to meet the death dragon face to face. He would not shrink from the fight, the survivor of countless conflicts and battle clashes. Then out of the mound came a sudden blast of flame. Waves of savage fire surged out of the deadly tunnel. So the dragon began the battle, breathing out his perilous fire. Without being burned alive, there seemed no way in, no way past the terrible flames for Beowulf. In his anger now, the hero roared his defiance. Like a battle horn it sounded, echoing through the vaulted cavern. Deep inside, the hated dragon recognized the champion's voice challenge. Filled with fury, he stirred himself to violent action. Uncoiled now, the serpent roared out his thunderous response, a hissing gout of foul flame and billowing breath smoke. The ground shook, the rocks and the trees trembled as the death dragon emerged, enraged from the mound, seeking out his foe. And there stood Beowulf before him, bravest of warrior kings, his shield held before him, his trusted sword drawn. Each saw then the terrible power of the other, felt the same portent of impending doom, but neither would shirk the death encounter. Beowulf stood his ground as the all-enveloping flames rushed forward toward him, curling over and around him, enveloping him entirely in smoke and fire.